Is there any way to save the marriage between me, 35 female, and my husband, 37 male? Background. We have been married for 9 years. Have a distancer-pursuer dynamic. I feel he is neglecting me, pointed out to him, he feels criticized, becomes more distant, and the cycle repeats. I found out last year that he was having an emotional affair for 4 years. I gave him a chance to stay in the marriage and prove his commitment to me. He stayed in the marriage but took no steps to prove commitment, e.g. counseling, an open phone policy, etc. Finally he asked for a separation. Then I said I want to get back together or else divorce. He said he preferred separation but would choose divorce at first. So we agreed on divorce. Too long did not read. Husband wants to discuss our marriage issues and his feelings of resentment. I want a basic promise of loyalty and commitment first. Is there any way through this? Here is our recent conversation. Note: English is his second language. Me: Are you sure you don't want to try counseling? Him: I don't know. We can talk. Me: No, it's okay. You already made it clear. Sorry. Him: You changed your mind? Me: You already said no when I asked a few times already, so I should stop asking. Sorry. Forget it. Him: I'm asking your feelings. Me: I feel I don't want to chase you anymore. Him: Okay. I feel exact opposite. I feel you blame me. Me: It's really difficult for me to listen to your feelings because you cheated on me and you are leaving me. I can't deal with being abandoned, and that's what you have been doing to me in different ways over many years. If you want me to care about your feelings and talk about things with you, you have to actually be loyal and be committed to being in the relationship with me. I'm sorry I asked. I don't want to fight. You already said no to counseling and said you are leaving, and you made it clear. It's hard for me to accept. Let's just forget it. Him: I understand your point. I've felt you've always wanted to change me as who I am and made me angry over years before, a fair partner. I know nothing can justify what I do, but now you are stick to, a fair partner. And all I hear from you is how you don't want to hear my feelings, which I understand 100%, but why I want to do counseling if you don't want to hear my feelings, that is why I feel impossible, and it has been like that always before and after, a fair partner. Me: Okay, well, you want me to listen to your feelings first even before you show me you are loyal to me and committed to me. I need your commitment and loyalty first. Otherwise I cannot be vulnerable and trust you enough to have those deep conversations. Him: I understand. Me: I understand too. Him: I'm sorry, I know I've judged you from some time. I admit. I still love you and I am not abandoning you. Me: You are. Him: You are not my property. You are independent. Me: I have no idea what that is supposed to mean. Him: Honestly, I don't understand. You always hated what I do and said how I'm cruel because I don't divorce, but when I said I want divorce, you say I abandon. It does make sense because that's exactly how I felt. Powerless and no right choice. But I just don't understand you don't see that. Me: I understand you are unhappy and want out of the marriage. If that's the right choice for you, then that's what you should do. That doesn't mean you are not abandoning me. If you wanted to stay in the marriage and you felt it was worth it, you would try to find a way to make it work. But you gave up on it. I can't control your choice, but I can say you have given up on the marriage and are abandoning me. What I wanted was you to commit to me and our marriage. To me that is the right choice because we are married and we swore to be together until the end. So of course I feel you are abandoning me when you give up on me. You're taking back the promise and commitment you made to me. I can't control that at all. I have no power over what you do. But that's what you are doing. I guess you are upset because you want my approval about that? But that won't happen. I married you because I wanted to stay together with you forever. I can't be just fine with it when you decide you are no longer committed. You still have the freedom to choose, but it doesn't mean I am fine with it at all. Him: You said we can go submit the divorce paper together? The day before yesterday? You said you're happy. Me: Only because I gave up because you have shown you are not committed. By cheating you showed me you are not committed. Him: This is never ending. Me: I gave you time to renew your commitment after cheating, but you don't want to. I only want to end it because I don't want to be with someone who doesn't commit to me. It is ending. I'm not asking you anything. Him: Okay. Me: I'm just pointing out the fact, which is that you lost your sense of commitment to me, which you promised would be permanent when you married me. If you don't feel that commitment anymore, you have to be honest, of course. But that doesn't mean you're not abandoning me and doesn't mean it doesn't hurt me. Him: It's good to hear that you don't want to be with me because that is how I've felt from you over years anyway. Me: I want to be with you as long as you are committed to me. But you aren't. I really wish you were because I really wanted to stay together. Him. To me you aren't because my word never resonates. It's your game. Your rules. Me. My rules? Him. Yeah. Me. My rule is that you have to be committed and loyal to me. Him. You define stuff. Me. Those are the basic rules of a marriage, not rules I made up. Him. What I should do. What marriage is. Me. You don't think loyalty is one basic rule of a marriage? Him. It's big part of it. I know. Me. I wanted to stay in the marriage as long as you are committed to being with me. But you don't. I can't force you to stay then. You always say how I forced you, so I am not doing so anymore. Him. Okay. Me. But it doesn't mean I don't feel abandoned. I wanted you to want to stay. But you don't. I have to deal with that fact for the rest of my life. Him. I couldn't trust you. Me. I don't need you to justify it. Him. I am not. My feelings. Me. I'm not blaming you for abandoning me. But you are abandoning me. Him. You don't want to hear anyway. Me. It's just a fact. Him. Your fact? Counseling? No. No more of your games. Me. Well, you don't want to be in the marriage anymore. Him. What you say is always the same. Me. I want to be in the marriage as long as you want to commit and promise loyalty. Him. No space to be changed. Me. But you don't want to. What am I saying that's not true? Him. Outcomes are always same. Me. If they are my facts, what is wrong with them? Him. Nothing. Me. You say I don't listen, but when I ask you to explain, you won't. And now you are ignoring me, shutting me out. That's how you abandon me. Him. You can be right. I hear you. Me. I don't want to be right. I don't understand why you got upset. You are abandoning me. Why is that wrong? You don't want the marriage anymore. I wanted to keep trying. What's wrong with what I said? I'm not blaming you. You have a right to divorce if you want to. But that is a kind of abandonment. Him. I understand you feel you're abandoned. Me. Is that wrong? Him. No. That's the truth. Me. Why did you get mad? Him. I just disagree with the fact, but I can't disagree with how you feel. I got confused. Me. Why do you disagree with it? You are the one who doesn't want to commit to the marriage, right? How is that not abandonment? I'm not saying that in an angry way, but I don't understand how that isn't just a fact. Him. That's why we can't communicate. It's okay. It is what it is. Me. You won't even try. That's my point. You don't want to try anymore. That's what it means to abandon a marriage. I'm asking you to explain your viewpoint and you just won't. You won't talk to me. If that's not abandonment, what is it then? If this isn't abandonment, then I'd like to know what it is. I think I have a right to know what is going on after 9 years of marriage. Him. You don't want to hear. Me. But I asked. Him. I said how much I felt blamed. Me. Right. You felt blamed, attacked, and so on. That's why you want to get out of this marriage. That's your reason, which I understand. But how is it not abandonment? I'm not invalidating your feelings or your reasons. Him. No, you don't, because you gave up on that and didn't dealing with it using my affair as an excuse. You think I don't deserve to be listened to. And that is fair. Me. I want to deal with it. Him. I didn't feel that for many years. Me. It's not about deserving. What the fuck are you talking about? I clearly said that I need to know if you are committed to the relationship and are going to be loyal. If you can meet those basic conditions first, then I wanted to deal with all of our issues. Him. Yeah, always up to me first. That is not what I believe how relationship works. Me. It's not about you or me. You don't believe that loyalty and faithfulness is a basic condition to be able to continue a marriage before any other issues are discussed? If I fucked some guy, would you want to talk about my feelings, or would you want me to show you first that I am committed to you and not going to cheat on you again? I actually have already given you my loyalty. I have already done that. So it's not up to you first. It's me who has already given you that. I'm just asking you to reciprocate and give me the very basic requirement of loyalty in a marriage before we move on to other important issues. Him. You showed your loyalty, but you didn't show what I wanted. If you were loyal, you wouldn't have made me feel that terrible. Invisible. Me. I'm sorry that you felt terrible and invisible. So did I. That has nothing to do with loyalty. I yelled at the cat who wouldn't stop hounding me. Him. You yelled. Me. I yelled at the cat because he won't leave me alone. Him. I don't like it. Me. I don't want to fight anymore. Him. Me either. Me. I just want a basic promise of loyalty in the marriage. That's it. You want give me that and you don't have to. I thought it's clear you are abandoning me but you won't say that either. Fine. You can say what you want then. I don't want to fight. Him. You just want to fix me again. I know. I understand. Me. I just want loyalty and commitment and to not be abandoned. I won't argue anymore. I have a right to ask for that as a basic thing in a marriage. I didn't say you deserve all the blame in our marriage. I just said I need a basic foundation of loyalty in order to talk about these things. I feel exhausted and demoralized asking for something as basic as for you to not cheat on me. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You both sound miserable together. What's the point? You are going around in circles and basically begging him to love you when he clearly doesn't. He doesn't want to be loyal to you. Why on earth should you two stay together? Just from that conversation I'd say you've been married to a self-centered ass who refuses to take responsibility for his actions. You're right, without loyalty and commitment there can be no marriage. This is why you don't stay with cheaters. A 4-year affair is something that most marriages don't make it through. This is a prime example of why. How do I 23F get out of this awkward situation with my local farmer 50M? My grandma lets the farmer keep his sheep on her field. I live with her as her carer. Basically he's been coming round to say hi to me the last few months. He's brought a few chocolate bars for me and he brought some wildflower seeds for me to plant too. I gave him beer in return lol. I thought this was entirely innocent until a couple weeks ago. He told me something pretty personal about a loss of a family member. I thought, wow, I didn't think we were close enough to talk about stuff like this. It sort of segued onto some of my family issues, and he said, I didn't mean to make you cry, even though I wasn't crying. My eyes might have been red from crying previously that day about something unrelated, but nonetheless, I wasn't emotional at that moment. Also, I wasn't wearing a bra, so I was sort of hugging my boobs so he couldn't see anything. Not out of like, this guy is creepy, sort of thing, but like I didn't want him to get a blast of breast when he's not expecting it, it would be pretty inappropriate. So he pulls me in with his arms and hugs me. I wasn't expecting it at all. My arm was still there over my boobs in between us. Imagine my discomfort. Then he forcefully removed my arm and put it round him. Aha. It was cringe. It was one of the cringiest. He leaves, I'm rethinking what the fuck he thinks is going on between us. Maybe I was overthinking. Regardless, he comes the next weekend and asks if he made me uncomfortable hugging me the other day. Let me be frank, I love hugs, I'm a hugging person. But it was out of the blue. Obviously there was some kind of body language miscommunication. I hate to think I'm reading this all wrong and being a twat. I told him no. He asks if my sister thought it was weird him coming to visit me etc. It was really awkward. Since then it's been awkward every time he's popped round. I mentioned a previous boyfriend to him, and he thought I meant a current boyfriend and somehow it ended up me telling him I'm single. Grimace. I don't know how to make it no longer awkward. To make it clear, I don't have any romantic feelings for him, but I think he's a kind guy. I have no idea what's going through his head. I'm definitely socially awkward and socially anxious if you can't tell by this post. What do I do here to make it go back to how it was before? You need to be more straightforward. You should have told him yes, the hug made you uncomfortable. It's not rude or impolite. You're making it worse by going along with it lol. Honestly I would be kind but frank. Sometimes old people overshare because they are really lonely. Stop skirting around it. You can be nice and polite and still have boundaries. Did I make you uncomfortable yesterday? Yes. The answer to that question is, yes. Not, no. Stop interacting with him, he can tend the sheep and not come to the house. Jan need to get assertive. Do not let him in, don't answer the door. I think you should quit answering the door for a bit. Or pop your head out and say you're busy and can't talk. If you really want to keep chatting with him, be honest. Tell him it's making you uncomfortable. He's trying to get into your pants. Cut contact with him immediately. If he comes to the door and you can pretend to not be home, do that. If he catches you outside, immediately be on your phone for an important conversation. Do not accept any gifts from him, ever. Go full ghost. Lower income earner, 27F, wants higher income earner, 31M, to sign prenuptial agreement. I, 31M, and my partner, 27F, have been dating for over a year. I recently finished medical school and will begin residency soon. My partner is soon to be a nurse. We were discussing finances, investments, long-term planning in the future, and my partner brings up wanting to sign a prenuptial agreement before marriage to protect in situations of divorce. She believes the cheating spouse should have to pay 50% their annual salary after divorce if cheating occurs. I said that is unrealistic and wouldn't want that burden on anyone for making such a mistake. For note, I have always been faithful in all of my relationships. I fear a judge, jury, or lawyer would try to twist any scenario to look like cheating. I feel like being a male and high earner might make me a target due to general bias to those with high income wealth. Of note, she grew up in a Miami culture where cheating and partner stealing is very prevalent, it seems, which I think might be driving her fear of infidelity. I never really felt I needed prenup at this point in my life, because outside of my high earning potential in 4 or 5 years from now, about $300K to her $60K, I have no assets and high medical school debt. She has also made statements that she doesn't want to be responsible for my debt when we are married, $460K to her $70K. Which I am okay with, but I can't help feel like accepting the rewards of my high income without accepting the debt is hypocritical. My wish would be to split assets 50-50 and at best offer maintenance fund for a year or few years for her to go back to school if we separated. I need your advice. Am I being unreasonable on thinking 50% annual salary is excessive even if it's in situations of infidelity? If so, what do you believe is more reasonable in my situation? I have never felt so in love with someone, but I don't want to be blinded from reason. TLR. Less wealthy spouse stated she wanted 50% of my annual salary for alimony if divorce ended in cheating. I think this is excessive and unsure what is fair, but it's think this is far from fair. Consult a lawyer. Not sure that is enforceable. I wouldn't marry her. Cheating is a choice, not a mistake. You can counter to agree 50% for certain years, let's say 2-5 years, and lower to 20% 10% after that until she gets married, which is when your alimony will stop. I think if you want it to be valid, both of you need to have attorneys representing each of you. What did your lawyer say? Insulting friend of my 33 male husband. I, 43 female. I just married my husband and we still argue about this one incident. Every time it's brought up we both end up angrier and more resentful than when it started. My husband moved here from Florida for me and I'm all the way up in Minnesota. One night he wanted me to speak to his friend on video chat and he was drunk, the friend. One of the first things his friend does is start talking about how he was face fucking some girl he didn't care about. It was like he was jealous I took his friend away and he wanted to mess us up so he could get his friend back. I ignored it and let him look like the fool he was being. A pathetic version of a man. Then when he sees me he asks if that's our dog. He was clearly insulting my looks and my fiancée, at the time, did absolutely nothing. Later he said that he didn't understand what his friend was saying, but that he warned me about his friend and I'm being unreasonable. At the time he called his friend back to allow me to respond since he did not. I called his friend a horseface, flicked him off and was otherwise out of character. Apparently what I said was so much worse because I said it with hate and anger when his friend was just being funny. Every time it's brought up I'm angrier that he didn't defend me even after clarity about what was said. I feel completely vulnerable and like I need to defend myself as my partner is not willing, capable. Now my partner won't speak to his friend unless I'm not around and he's all resentful towards me for it. How do we move past this? If someone called me a dog and my husband didn't stand up for me, then that relationship would be over. If the marriage is very recent, maybe you can still get an annulment. Let him go back to his boyfriend. With the 10-year age gap, is this really the first time you're seeing a disparity in maturity? Then to counter that you turned around and used a lower level than they did? Your husband's friend called you a dog. Your husband does nothing and you're still with your husband? That would be an X. Let him go back to his boyfriend and find someone who actually loves and appreciates you. You don't. Your husband values his friend more than he does you. You didn't marry a good guy. Your husband is a reflection of this friend and you're just wearing rose-colored glasses to see it. But with the age gap you're blinded by it anyways. I would have ended the relationship over this, recently married or not. He can always go back to Florida and face fuck his stupid friend if he wants.